So to continue that, another thing that we wanted to share in this opening talk is to give a little context for the practice of Hatha Yoga, because we all here started from the actual practice of Asana, of the postures that we do. And we wanted to kind of invite or give more background, where is it all coming from and where is it all going, because this is just a part. First of all, start from saying that yoga, it's very important to understand, is not a religion. Nobody is asking you to believe in anything, in any god or in any something that you don't see. The only thing that you are supposed to believe in is that what you're doing will elevate you and will take you further in this process. But that's maybe the only belief, and maybe you would call it more trust. That you have the trust that what you're doing will elevate you. Yoga is a system. Is like any other system. It tells you, do that and you'll receive that. It's a very systematical way of doing things that bring you to a certain point in your evolution as a human being. Because what's different from us to animals is mainly is that we have the freedom to choose. We can choose not to eat. We can. I mean, we can choose to do a certain thing. We can choose to refrain from doing this or do that. Animal has the urge and is immediately going to satisfy it. And we have this thing in between that allows us, that gives us the freedom. So yoga, among many other systems and many other systems of beliefs that's all connected to the Vedic tradition, is giving you a very, very precise order to follow on your path. But it's not necessarily saying that within 10 years you will be somewhere there, but it really helps you to go with your individuality to where you want to reach. And the yoga is the system of yoga was first introduced by a person called Patanjali Maharishi, and he put it in very precise 8 stages. And when we speak about these 10 stages, it really clears out terms that are very vague. Even though we speak about them all the time, they're very vague to many of us. Like, what is meditation? What is enlightenment? What is freedom? Who am I? Those kind of things that are, I mean, we can talk about it a lot, but the yoga gives it a very nice and organized way to look at it. And at the same time also very open and very accepting, because each stage is a lifetime. It's not that you do asana and then you stop doing the asana and you do only Pranayama and meditation. Each stage takes you all the way. And you can see it from the first 2 stages. Because the first stages of the 8 limbs path of yoga that Patanjali talks about is called Yama Niyama. Things that we are supposed to do and things that we're supposed not to do. But when I will start to speak about them, you'll see that these are very, very high values. You could never think that somebody who just approached yoga could all of a sudden follow all these things. It's like, and the idea behind it is those are things that we strive for. And striving for or inspired by not necessarily means that today I'm following it. I'm in the process, and this is one of these things that we learn even on our body when we do the asanas, that it's not right away I'm going to be like in the posture. Maybe I will never be like the yogis in the posture. The main thing is to look at where you are right now and to accept it and to be able to grow out of it. But nobody gives you the rhythm, nobody gives you the date or anything like that. So we have 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. The first one to start is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violent. And we know that every act of violence comes from fear. So it actually invites us to look at our fears and to see where our violence is coming from. Because it's not the act that we are, let's say, speak violently to somebody or hurt somebody in another way. It's the fact that we have a fear from something that makes us react or act in a certain way. And after ahimsa we have asteya, and satya. Satya is truthfulness. It's the way that we speak. It actually means to be able to appreciate and give a lot of significance to every word that we take out. That we speak things that are for the benefit of us, for the benefit of others, for the benefit of the world. We don't speak things that are going to create something negative for another person. I mean, we're really aware to what comes out of our mouth. And in yoga we have a practice that's called mauna, for example, that it's, we call it talk fast, fast for talking. That we can, let's say, take, and everybody can do it, like take an hour a day, and just decide that on that time you don't speak. And you see that after, when you start speaking again, you see that every word that you say has a lot of meaning, like has a lot of, it's very precious, each thing that you're trying to say. After satya we have asteya, which is non-stealing. And it's not the actual act of going and stealing, but the fact that we want something that we don't have. And we think that our happiness is going to be in that object that we don't have right now and we want to have it. So that's basically the idea of asteya. And then we have brahmacharya. It's in general to, again, more or less the same thing, to be content with what you have and not to think that anything that you're going to do is going to create happiness, just to accept everything that we have right now. And the last yama is very elevated. It's to be not to have attachment to life, like to kind of overcome that fear of death, which we all have. So it's a goal. I mean, you certainly don't ask from a person to, have it all right now, but when we practice asana, these are the steps before. So it gives a lot of content to the actual practice. It's not just physical. It's not just to be more flexible or to be more fit. It has a lot behind it. And that's why people, when they practice yoga, many times they just don't understand how come they feel so good. It's because those postures has a lot of power, has a lot of value. And this value is in order for us to take it to our entire life. The practice doesn't end when you finish to do your asanas. It can continue further and further. And this is why the Yama and Niyama are the roots of it. The niyamas, the things that we should try to do, is first of all is saucha. Saucha is to be clean in the body, like to take a bath a few times a day or at least once. But also it's cleanliness in another way to clean ourselves is to refrain from eating things that are harmful for us. And because in yoga we don't have just physical body, we also have pranic body and different other bodies. And the first sheet, like the first cover that we have, is called Annamaya Kosha, and it's made out of everything that we've eaten. So, like the body, the physical body is the food. Actually, it's called the food sheet. So by making sure that we are consuming pure food, we are actually having a clean body. But also Hatha Yoga and Pranayama are cleaning processes. So by doing that, even when we sweat, for example, in the practice of yoga, it's a way to clean ourselves. The third one is called Santosha. And Santosha is actual contentment. To be able to accept everything that happened. If it's too cold, if it's too hot, if crowded, if there's nobody, to be able to really have the peace of mind to accept all that and to find the happiness in whatever there is. After Samdosha, we have Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is to be in touch or read the scriptures. And in general, it's not necessarily a certain scripture like we have in Christianity, the Bible. No, it's anything that you read or any content that you kind of consume that brings you closer to awareness, brings you closer to yourself. To like take, like the same way that we eat food, to eat or to read or to listen to things that brings us closer to us, rather than things that are taking us further outside to some kind of illusion. And tapas, Keshava mentioned this a few times in the Hatha Yoga classes, is to restrain yourself. Like, let's say you are in Chaturanga, and he counts 9,800, like, to be able to say, it's difficult, it's close to impossible, but I'm taking 3 more counts. Like, I'm restraining myself, I'm going to go further beyond what I think is my ability. And in yoga we have different practices. I mean, you have all kind of crazy stuff too, like people who are standing with their hand up for 10 years, people who don't eat at all, people who are sleeping on a bed of nails. There's all kinds of very extreme practices that are under tapas, but this is something that we can all do in very little things, and it really increases your self-confidence and many other things in your personality. And the last niyama is to issue upon Dharana, is to completely surrender to God. That's before Asana. And in a way, what it means to completely surrender to God, there's probably many ways to describe it, but what I choose to say today is that in a way to live in an attitude that this life is a school. And according to the Vedic knowledge, we reincarnate and reincarnate, and we just switch the body to another body. And whatever we got here now, our parents, our family, our work, our job, everything is something that we need to learn from. And nothing is good or bad. This is just what you have to, this is like the lessons that your teacher prepared for you to go through right now. So in a way, this kind of attitude, there's no good or bad, it's just whole school, and we try to really inquire and see what we have to learn. We don't escape from those difficult moments sometimes, because it's exactly what we need. And it's exactly what we need in order to grow and elevate ourselves. So this is before Asana. Then come the Asana that we practice a lot, and we know pretty much what it's all about. And Asana, besides cleaning our body and doing all those great benefits and help us feeling good, they are really helping us, and they are the beginning of the process of starting to watch things. Not being so much the one that it's all happening to, but to be able to watch. The body is a pretty gross thing, and you can be in a place where you can watch it move. You can feel like we sometimes guide in the relaxation, feel all your sensations, feel how your clothes are touching your skin, feel the touch between your legs and the mat. We kind of try to show you how Asana helps you to watch, to be the one that's overlooking at everything that happens. And Pranayama takes it even further, because if we were looking at our physical body, in Pranayama we start to look at the energy in our body. Pranayama is all the breathing exercises and the bandhas, locks, and mudras, different gestures that we do with our hands, and it's all ways to kind of manipulate the energy in the body and to be able to watch all of that. Pranayama means expansion of energy, that we stop thinking that only this is me, but I'm able to expand more and more until I understand I am everything. I am space. There's no limit to me. And after pranayama, we have pratyahara. Pratyahara is to take all the senses that are all the time going all over the place. I want this, and this is beautiful, and this person I like, this person I don't like. Take all those senses and thoughts and bring them inside. That's why we practice certain asanas that we kind of close ourselves completely, or yoni mudra, where we close all the openings of the body, and we try to listen to everything that's going on inside, all the sensations, all the feelings, all the noises even that we have inside the body, to just be concentrated on that. And we have special asanas, sometimes we do them, that are specifically for Pratyahara. And after Pratyahara comes Dharana. Dharana is what many people are calling meditation too. It's one of the some of the practices that we will do today. Tata is a form of Dhyan, is to take all the thoughts that are going all the time all over the place and concentrate them in one thing. It can be a flame of a candle, it can be a mantra, it can be a yantra, which is a certain drawing, it's mantra in form. It can be a deity, it can be a star, it can be the moon, it can be actually anything. But the idea with Dhyan is to concentrate, and whenever your thoughts are running away, you bring them to this object of concentration. So you train your mind to really be focused. It also helps you with work usually and like other stuff. But this is the first, the step which is one before actual meditation. The next one is meditation. It's called Dhyan. Dhyan is meditation in Sanskrit, and also the word Zen is a way that Dhyan was transformed and traveled in the East. It became from Dhyan, it became Zen. But Dhyana or meditation, it's not a state that we can do. It's not something that I can do Dhyan right now. Dhyan is a state that can happen to us. Like sleep can happen to us. It's not something that's possible for us to be active in. But it's something that can happen when we practice Dharana. So in the moment that I put all my attention at the candle flame, and a moment when the candle flame is gone, and my attention is not all over the place, for a second there is peace, there is quiet. There is no thoughts, and there is no object to concentrate in, and there is nothingness, and there is no mind. And usually, when we practice Dharana, concentration, after a while we get those glimpses, those moments of no mind and no thoughts, and nothing interferes, nothing takes us from the present. And as we practice, those moments grow and grow and grow. And like Keshava said before, this is the grace. This is the thing that we can't really do. It happens to us, those moments that there is nothingness. And we call it in yoga Ananda, which means bliss. And that's why monks in Hinduism, they get the ending of Ananda, because this is a state when you don't need or you don't want anything from the world, and you're only in that bliss that is coming out of this state of meditation. And the final stage in this 8 limbs paths of yoga is Samadhi. And Samadhi is enlightenment, or the situation where those moments became your life. And then you need to bring your mind and you need to bring your thoughts in order to live, or in order to communicate, or in order to do something. But most of your life, you are in that blissful state of enlightenment. your mind is no more all over the place like a monkey that's going here and there, and like something that we completely do not control, but in a way, that state is the most of your time you're there, and when you need the mind, you bring it. So this is more or less the context of our practices here today. And our next thing will be to practice some Dharana, some concentration. And we're going to do it today with a candle. We're going to practice Tratak. Tratak is also a form of cleaning, because we are cleaning the eyes, we are cleaning our mind. And it's kind of the vertebra between the Hatha Yoga, the physical practice, and the practice of meditation.